Hello, travel biz owner. Welcome to my corner of the travel industry, the Strategic Travel Entrepreneur Podcast. If you're ready to have fun, be inspired, get clarity, and take action in your travel business, then you're in the right place. Let's jump in. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Super excited to have you here. This is kind of like our unofficial part 2 of like this gearing up for holiday, both sales, but also engaging and getting to know your own little travel communities that you have. And so I really wanted to tailor. So we were talking a lot about sales and selling things in our Black Friday episode last week. This one I want to talk about like more nurturing and engaging with people and really cultivating that trust factor so that people do end up converting and becoming one of your clients. I want to give a couple of quick shout outs because got some feedback from last week's podcast. So thank you to Travel Pro over in Arlington, Virginia. I loved last week's episode. I'm in go mode for these. Love hearing that. I'll be sure to send you a note via LinkedIn for what I decide. However, I'm currently feeling that I'm going to build on my props through winter solstice. Love this, and I'm creatively inspired. Thank you. And then I also got some feedback from Travel Pro in Augusta, Maine. Just listened to the Black Friday podcast, reached out to some of my favorite BDMs, and already have a webinar scheduled. Love that. Great taking action. That is huge. So if you want to give me any feedback on this episode or last week's episode, all you have to do is click that link in the show description that says send Rita your thoughts, and I'll be able to see what you have been up to within your travel business, especially off of these 2 episodes. Also, last but not least, but this is probably going to be the last episode that I talk about the Plan Your Year workshop. And that's simply because I have some guest speakers coming up for the rest of the month who are actually our presenting partners for our Black Friday event, which I'll talk about in just a little bit. But if you are wanting to intentionally and strategically plan your marketing strategy for 2025 and not by yourself so that you make sure you hold yourself accountable and actually do it, then you want to make sure to join us in the Plan Your Year session. It is happening November 21st through the 22nd from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern, both days. You will get recordings, you will get access to Google Sheets, and you will also get access to the digital workbook, which you can either fill out the digital workbook or you can print it at home too. The workbook is also available on Amazon coming soon. So if you're kind of like, I love the digital, but I need the paper, you can also do it a little bit easier that way too. You are also going to, if you would like, add a bonus day to implement the plan. So I am somebody that I love to make the plan, but doing the plan is also as important as making the plan. So that is happening December 4th from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern. And you can always add that onto your package if you're interested in that. So that is the Plan Your Year workshop. And then we have shortly after Plan Your Year, or kind of like launching on the last day of Plan Your Year, is Travel Industry Black Friday. So if you're not currently on my email list, I do encourage you to join it because that is how you will be getting the first notice to check out the link of everything that's happening. There's nearly 30 participants in Travel Industry Black Friday, from tech tools to workflows, templates, branding, coaching. There's lots of different things. So if you have been wanting to make an investment in your travel business, but you needed a little bit of a cutback, this is probably going to be the best time for you. And that goes live November 22nd. But you need to be on the email list to be one of the first people to hear about all the offers. And we even have a goodie bag with some more free resources for you available there. Alrighty, that is the big announcements that we have. So now going on to the meat and potatoes of today's episode is really that I do want you to focus on like a little bit less on sales because I know November is going to be very sales promotions offer heavy and people are going to be a little bit distracted with all the holiday stuff that is happening in December. So you really want to cultivate that community, kind of like be like, hey, I'm still here, but also do a little bit of inspiration and a little bit of fun. And so that's where I think like the Advent calendar, the 12 days of Christmas, and of course, like modify this if you don't celebrate Christmas, if you celebrate Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, or if you celebrate solstice instead, modify how you need to. I also want you to like encourage you that it doesn't have to be 12 days. It doesn't have to be 24 days. If like 5 days is good enough for you or 7 days, like, do not feel overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh, I gotta plan things for this amount of time. Do what like this, you're crafting the cookie cutter. So you're making the cookie cutter work for yourself. Now thinking about like the advent calendar, because really both of these are what kind of surprise and delights or special things that you can do for your clients to get them engaged, to get them like feeling really excited or motivated and inspired. And so the first tool that I want to like list out to you, I've not personally used this tool. I tested this tool with another one and I kind of like the way this one worked a little bit better this morning. It is called myadvent.net, where you can create an advent calendar. And what I liked about it is that you can personalize it. It doesn't have to be all 24 or 12 spaces. If you just wanted to do a couple of spaces, that's totally fine. There's a free and a paid version. What I liked about it too is that you can upload your own photos. You can also upload voice messages if you wanted, or even YouTube videos, which I'm like, having that YouTube video feature, I think is going to be like super strategic in how you really incorporate this advent calendar into like your like fun festivities for December. The other thing that I want to point out too, before I get into some of my ideas on like the different squares or the spots, is that you can come at this for a couple of different ways. You can go eclectic, meaning you're sharing a lot of different things, no like real theme involved, or you can go with a theme. And I would even go, like, if you're going with a theme, I would make sure it's related to your niche in some way. And even further, like if there is a group trip that you are trying to sell, or like that's the main selling point, like I would even theme it to like tips around this group trip. So it's like top of mind for people who are checking this out as well. So just a little bit of pre-thoughts before we get into some of the juicy tidbits. So in no particular order, here are just 5 different things that you can add or incorporate for this advent calendar. So, of course, I'm talking about like daily surprises. This can be travel tips. And again, like this can be related to your niche. This cannot be related to your niche. Maybe this is just holiday travel tips in general that you want to share. Like make sure to pack your patience, especially with TSA and customs and immigration and all that, if you're doing overseas trips. Sharing local hidden gems is going to be a really great one. Like, really, I want you to think that this is a tool to position yourself as the travel bad booty. I'm not going to curse, but the travel bad booty. Like, you want people to come out of and thinking of this like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that this was happening. I didn't know that like these were the insights that I needed. Like you want to be positioned that at the end of whatever campaign, however long this campaign is, that they are ready to either book a trip with you or that the first person that they call to make their next trip is through you. So this can be through travel tips, local hidden gems, fun facts. So I'm even thinking, well, I don't want to, that's my number 3. So I'm not going to I'm not going to jump ahead of myself, but like fun facts of any sorts of destinations. Or did you know that there's this tool that can help prop your neck when you're traveling on an airplane? Or did you know about this amazing luggage that's out? Blah, blah, blah. So whatever like fun facts that are out there. And then I also feel like inspirational quotes, maybe like with a personal photo or maybe client photos if you have permission to share their photos. Inspirational like travel quotes or even in funny quotes, I think would also be a really great hit in terms of like I feel like kids always are the funniest, especially when it comes to travel, because they just say, what's the first thing top of mind? So if you're a parent, like what are those funny things that the kids always bring up that you can like add on to this? It's like a little hidden funny on your advent calendar. So daily surprises is the first one. I would also incorporate, so number two is to incorporate some sort of like mini contest or like an exclusive promotion on one of your squares. And where I really see this being of benefit to you is if you run some sort of contest or promotion and it helps you to increase your reviews or your testimonials. So something that you can like put in the box, like something that I'm really grateful for is my clients who share with me how their trips went. If you haven't shared with me recently how your trip went with me, please go ahead and add a testimonial or review to my Google business profile. And I would love to shout you out in my next email newsletter or wherever it is that you might do like a little bit of name recognition for them. So that could be just one way of being able to incorporate that. The other way too is everyone that might give you a review or a testimonial on your preferred site, enter them into like some sort of shopping gift card. Or even this tip is from Danielle Lewis. She always recommends Trees for Travel. If you've not heard of that organization, and I'm actually hoping to connect with them soon, they will offset your carbon footprint. So, let's say like you're booking somebody onto a cruise, depending on how many trees you want to buy. I think typically 3 trees is equivalent to like a 7 night cruise. So maybe like that's a promotion that you can offer too. Like for the first 10 or the first 20, I will plant 10 trees to offset everybody's carbon footprint for this past year. So that may be like another really great way to incorporate like a contest or promotion that's not necessarily discounting what you're offering either, and actually doing you a service by boosting up your reviews and your testimonials. Number three idea is to take them on a virtual journey. Now, this, like when I was thinking about fun facts, this is what I was thinking about. Because maybe it is like you want to take them on like a virtual river cruise, or you want to take them on a virtual trip to the national parks. Whatever it is, like make it feel like they're experiencing this trip with you. And so they're uncovering a different aspect of this trip as the days go by. So this could be the different markets that you see on a river cruise, the holiday experiences that are also available at your favorite theme parks or lodges, and like have them go on this journey. So if you're kind of like you didn't want to do anything too random, you could also like think of an itinerary that you've recently planned and what are the holiday elements that you can incorporate within that trip as well. So take them on a journey, really get their juices. Like I'm thinking like the salivation happening, because if you're talking to me about a trip that I've always wanted to go on and you're just like giving me little bits and pieces at the end of it, I'm going to be like, give me that piece of chocolate. Like give me that trip. Like I just want to go. So salivate their senses. Number four idea is to make it interactive. So there's like we've talked a little bit about different tips and tricks, surprises, getting some testimonials. But how about you include some actual engagement as well? So maybe like one of your squares might have like a poll on what the top winter destinations are for 2025. Maybe you're doing some sort of quiz like, are you team hot apple cider or are you team hot cocoa? Go to this Facebook post and vote with me. Because that's the other part of it, is that you want it to be a little bit of interaction. So if you're having some sort of poll, have them go somewhere else to give their feedback or answer the question of whatever this topic might be. So either link up your social media post or a social media group that might like be relevant to this post, or even just have them email you their answer with all of their top answers or questions about something. So that is, and you can even do it that maybe you're running through a different sequence. So like day one is a tip, day two is a hidden gem, day three is an inspirational quote, day four is where I'm going to ask for testimonials, day five is where I'm going to do a poll. So you can like interchange some of these as well. And then 5 is part of where I want you to be a bit strategic. And so I'm thinking for number 5, if you have the option to be able to share any media, any content that you have, really take advantage of that. Because again, that's going to just elevate your positioning as an expert authority on the type of travel that you sell. So if it is a YouTube video, especially if you're using that myadvent.net, you can embed the code and it'll pop up there in the advent calendar and they can play it directly from there. So if you're putting like travel tips on your YouTube, go ahead and link like maybe one of your recent videos or a new video that you've created. Maybe it's not a YouTube video, but you're going to link a blog post like, these are my helpful tips for holiday travel. Check out this recent blog post. This could also be like just social media posts as well. So if you've gotten a recent reel, make sure to like link up that reel and they can click and go to your social media. So that's some of the ways that you can put your different squares together for your advent calendar. There are a couple of things that I want you to think about when we're talking about execution, because you can do it where somebody has to sign up for your advent calendar. And this is like where I would do like a different email segmentation, like 2024 advent calendar, because I'm also thinking like it's one thing for you to make this available, let people know that it's out there and about. But then with the hustle and bustle of the holidays, like I feel like people are just going to forget that the advent calendar is around. So if you're doing weekly emails, making sure to remind them through that. This might also be a way where if you do a separate email segmentation and you tell people, if you add yourself here, I will send you daily emails to remind you to unwrap your present for the day, something to that effect, so that they know emails are coming, so that when they see the emails coming, they also aren't like, why am I having so many emails coming? And that's why I also want you to let them be able to self-select that this is something that they want to do and not something that you just add people to. So being able to send out some sort of daily reminder, dedicated post. The other thing that I thought about is maybe it's not emails, but maybe it's text reminders, because we all know we get so many emails every single day. But if I got a text reminder, I'd be like, oh, I have to unwrap my square for the day. Let me see what's going. Like, I would be really excited if I got a text. Now, this is not also saying like I want you to text me 24/7 about all the things that are going on. Like, this can be just a temporary text campaign that people can elect into and being like, yep, I want to receive the text messages because I want that reminder every day so I can have a little happy going on. And so some of the programs that I saw that you can utilize for that is Text M All. So text-em-all.com or textmyguests.com. I've not used either one of these services, so caveat there, but it looked like they had affordable options. Like you could probably subscribe just for a month with their paid options and then be good. Then unsubscribe it unless you would like to keep up with it. Another one that I've heard more like network marketers use is Project Broadcast for text messaging. So that could be another avenue that you check out. But those are a couple ways that you can do text, because obviously like you don't like want to use your own personal phone number to send text reminders, but being able to use a tech like this not only like helps you protect your phone number, but also it helps you automate things. So you can like pre-schedule all of your text reminders to go out, and like then you not have to worry about it. You set it and then you forget it. Another idea, so obviously like we're thinking about this as like some sort of activity people can do digitally. They can like physically click the button, unwrap their little gift for the day. And then I got started thinking, because I am the podcast person, so obviously podcasting got into my head. If you've ever thought about putting together a podcast or like a private podcast feed, this could be a really unique way to do it, in that you have a 12 days of Christmas/advent calendar that's a podcast feed. So instead of having all these things pre-written, You can record at home via Zoom, I also will record podcasts on Audacity. It's a free app for Microsoft. GarageBand is the free app to record audio on Apple products and be able to record maybe like your top tips and like have maybe if it's top 10 tips for holiday travel, have a new episode release every single day. And that also helps eliminate the part of you needing to send a text reminder because if it is on your podcast, like people are just going to get the podcast reminders that a new podcast is fresh and available for you as well. So there's two ways that I kind of recommend that you're able to do this. The first way is if you wanted to do like a full out public podcast, and this can be like temporary. Like again, you would pay for the month. There's also some trials that you can put out there. Buzzsprout is who this podcast is hosted through. So if you go to strategictravelentrepreneur.podcast.com/Buzzsprout, that's my affiliate link if you want to try them out. There is a trial there. If you want this to be a public pod or a private podcast that you don't want to be out in the open for everybody and just want it to be like a little gift for your community, you can also use the technology Hello Audio. So, all of my private audio summits, like the Travel Tech Audio Summit, is run through Hello Audio. And so that code or that affiliate link is strategictravelentrepreneurpodcast.com/hello audio if you wanted to try that out. I know that this is probably going to be a little bit more tech intensive, especially if you haven't done this before. So I would love your feedback. I'm happy to help you out with this. So if I need to do like some sort of group class on putting a podcast together or putting audios together, because it also doesn't need to involve this type of technology. Like if you really wanted to bootstrap it, you could just record the audios and then email a new audio every single day to the people who have self-selected to be on this list also. So hopefully I've given you the gamut of like different options and tech tools for that. Um, so I think that those are my ideas for the 12 Days of Christmas Advent calendar. I'm kind of like blinking myself because before we got started, I also wanted to mention to you last week, I had mentioned about a Black Friday promo and possibly starting some sort of membership offer or community offer where somebody might pay monthly for that. And of course, there is technology pieces and all that in place. The tech tool that I use for kind of like if you enrolled in Prep for Wave Week, you know that there was kind of like this portal platform. That platform is called Member Vault. Member Vault is actually doing a lifetime offer that if you wanted to do one product, which could be your one membership, it's a lifetime fee of $99 and you get access to enroll however many people and access to all their features for that one product. So if that idea has kind of like been mulling on you and you've been thinking about it, strategictravelentrepreneurpodcast.com/member vault might be something that you want to look into because I love the lifetime offer where you only have to pay the $99. And if you have different ideas of other digital products in the future, you can always like upgrade to the next level. But I think like that's a really great starting point for you as well. So I did want to give that resource because that's available to you at this time too. But let me open it up to my live studio audience. What kinds of questions do you have about this 12 Days of Christmas and Advent calendar for your travel business this year? And feel free to come off mute if you feel comfortable or add it in the chat.
Well, I just had a quick question in regards to the member vault thing.
Mhm.
So I know when in the last week's episode we were talking about maybe making it a membership for like Black Friday deals, but what are some other ways that you could utilize member vault to like that one offer, that membership that would be a something that you provided?
Yeah, because that's a really great question because I'm like, I feel like this could go so many different ways, that membership. I feel like it also depends on like what your bandwidth is and depending like what the price point it is that you want it to be. So this can be like where it's different tips and tricks for a special travel community. I know like we had talked a lot about accessible travel last week. So if this is like an accessible travel tips community where maybe like you do one or two calls every single month, that might be what your community is all about. Your travel community is. Your travel community can also be like an insiders community where you're going to scope out what some of the best offers are, and only people who are inside of the community get first access to all the immediate offers on whatever travel it may be that you want to be selling. This could also be almost like a preparation or program, like take my first travel trip, or I'm thinking if you work with a lot of like study abroad students and preparing for your first trip, I'm sure there's lots of nervous parents having their children, but they're not children, they're college age, but going overseas for the first time might be a little bit nerve-wracking. So how can you prepare them more? So maybe this is like a 3-month program, like a overseas preparedness program too. So I could see it running in a couple of different ways. In a membership, some of the things that are kind of important is making sure that there's fresh content that's always available. So if you want to like theme every month to something or theme the calls out to something, that's going to be really important. Maybe it's just a even pick my brain community. Like you can either purchase a high-end consult or you can pick my brain in the community. I know that people that not in the travel industry specific, but they've put these communities together and they answer the questions on YouTube. So it's kind of like a double whammy where they get income from the membership community and then they also get income from those YouTube ads. So especially if we're thinking strategically and longevity, the only people that can ask questions that you answer live are those people that are in the community, so they get more access to you. That's really what the community is about, is how much access that you want to allow in like a closer knit circle too. Let me
So in some ways, it kind of sounds like a Facebook group, but an elevated Facebook group, like an exclusive Facebook group
correct.
page. Okay.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Can you talk a little more about using the 12 days to highlight a group trip that you want to promote to get interest to learn more about the group trip? Love this question, Cindy. I would definitely I and I feel like this could depend on how long your group trip is. So if you have a 7-day group trip, and let's say like maybe it's even longer if you do pre or post, like I would make sure that each day reveals an interesting fact or interesting information. Maybe it's a YouTube video that you even found about the destination that you want people to learn about. Now I'm thinking about Samantha Brown, and Samantha Brown always has like useful clips on her Instagram account too that can help with little travel tips. So maybe it's a preparing for your trip, and then during it's also a highlight. So day one, this is what happens day one. This is what we'll be able to experience. Maybe it's even like if you didn't want to do it like synchronously in terms of days, day 1 through 7, it can also be these are the things that you need to shop for. This is the thing you can't miss. This is one of my favorite dishes from this destination. I cannot wait to experience this location with you for this reason. So, being able to give little tidbits of each aspect of the trip, I think is going to be super helpful. I think, especially for 2025, because there's a lot of things, there's a lot of like um legal-ish things. Like in the UK, you need to be pre-registered to be able to enter into the UK. So giving some background information on these travel nuances that people need to know about. I think the European Union one got pushed back, but I think the UK is definitely happening in January. This could even be like packing tips. Like I always make sure that I pack my packing cubes with me. Um, Here's an Amazon link for one of my favorite bottles that never leaks when I'm overseas. This is how I pack back bottles of wine to bring back from my trips to Italy. So yeah, I would definitely like think about what the group trip is exactly and kind of go with it. Like, do you want it to be just an eclectic group of information that you want to put around, or do you want to take them on kind of like that journey? This is what we're doing day 1, and here's day 2, and then I can't wait to like relax on day 3. So putting those different components of the group trip out there. What else? Any other ideas or thoughts? You're welcome. All right. Well, if we don't have any other thoughts or questions, we'll go ahead and end this episode. But of course, remember, you can go ahead, comment, or not comment below like I'm on Instagram or something. Type or push the button that says send Rita your thoughts. And I'd love to hear what you thought about this episode. And I cannot wait for our next live episode, which I'm not sure when that will be. So that may be something you should send me your thoughts on when you would like to do this again. And what topics would you like to discuss all together as a group? All right. Have an amazing weekend, and I will see you all here next week. Bye. Thanks for joining me on the podcast today. Remember to check out the show notes for all relevant links and resources from today's show. See you next time.